Hello everyone. This is the fourth video in my series, Jesus is God, and today I'd like to take a look at John 8:58, which reads in the Greek, Ipen auftis Iesus amen amen lego imin, prin Abraham yeneste ego eimi, which in the English means, Jesus said to them, truly, truly I say to you, before Abraham was born, I am. So let's back up a little bit and get the context of that verse and the thought behind it. Jesus, speaking to a Jewish audience here, says, starting in verse 56, John 8:56, your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. So the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was born, I am. Now that phrase, I am, is clearly drawing the audience back to Exodus 3:14, which reads in the Hebrew, Vayomer Elohim al Moshe, Ayeh asher ayeh, Vayomer ko tomar libni Yisrael, Ayeh shalachni alechem. Which means in the English, God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Okay, now let's zero in on that phrase in the Hebrew. Ayeh asher ayeh. Ayeh asher ayeh. Now, this phrase, ayeh, is in the imperfect tense. The imperfect tense in the Hebrew is a continuous tense. And asher, so ayeh is the imperfect first person of haya, the word meaning to be in the Hebrew, haya. And asher is the relative pronoun, meaning who, and ayeh repeated again, I am who I am. So that's a very nice translation into the English of ayeh, asher, ayeh. Now, in the Greek, if you go to the Septuagint is a 3rd century BC translation of the Hebrew Bible into Greek, which was the lingua franca at the time. That phrase, Ayeh asher ayeh, in the Hebrew is translated into the Greek by the Jewish elders who were equally fluent in both Greek and Hebrew. Ego eimi oon. Ego eimi oon. So you can see the ego eimi here is the same ego eimi that Jesus said in John 8:58. And this translation by the Jewish elders in the Septuagint is very interesting. It's a very nice translation. Even though it's not doubling the ego eimi as the Hebrew doubles the ayeh, it brings it out very nicely because ego eimi is in the present active indicative, present tense, active indicative mood, and ho'on, ego eimi is I am. Ho'on is a participle. It's a participle. So that would translate into the English, I am the being one. I am the being one. So the thought that's being expressed here is that God is the being one. He is the continuously being one. I am the being one, okay? In other words, God has no beginning and no end. That's the key thought here. This ayeh is from the Hebrew verb haya, to be. So it's the constantly being one. The constantly being one. And this is the thought that Jesus is expressing in John 8:58. What he's saying there is that even though Abraham died 2,000 years before Jesus was born, Jesus existed before Abraham was born. And what he's saying here is that Jesus, is the same God that appeared to Moses in the burning bush and announced to Moses to tell to the children of Abraham that his name was I am who I am. So clearly Jesus is God. This is what's being expressed in John 8:58. This is the only way to interpret it, and you really cannot get around this. This is a very strong proof for the deity of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is God. Thank you.